Okay, I think there's a opportunity to short here on the pound New Zealand dollar. I'm just on the 1 minute chart, just looking at what has actually happened in a minute in this huge drop away. If I have a look at the 4 hour time frame, you can see on the 4 hour here there was a supply zone inside there, 4 hour supply, and then if we just drop to the 1 hour, yeah, in the 1 hour there was a 1 hour supply zone here which we've tapped into, and let me drop to the 1 minute and just show you what I'm looking at. So there's the 4 hour. Oh no, that's what I've changed to the 1 hour now, isn't it? Excuse me. So it's a 1 hour supply. I'm going to turn this off for the minute. So I was looking at this price action coming in to this area. As you can see, it started from down here. It just made this huge push up, and all the way through we just created new highs here. And then we've taken this high here and then dropped. Now it's absolutely just dropped its guts out on here, which doesn't mean, you know, you might have missed the trade. It also went and took this high up here. Now, another thing you can look at as well is go, why didn't you take the trade off there? Because this was the move. This area here was the move which pushed up there. So it would have to be this area which got broken. Now what's happened here is that it's just taken them, and a lot of people probably might have shorted here, and there just might be some stops which were down here, trailing down here, and they've been stopped out. I'm looking at this now. At first I was looking at this as an entry, I was looking for the 50% retrace because there is a zone sat in here, and that should draw it, which it is. Now that's now above the 50 and the 618. So if I was looking to short this, I would go from this zone here. My stop would be above here because I don't assume this now to push up any further. And then, as usual, minimum I'll look for is 2% before I can bank 1%, throw it at break even, just so I've taken some money. Let's just see what happens. I'll keep an eye on this, but as you can see, I was looking for a low to get broken, and eventually the low taken at this point here on the 1 minute. Very, very minor structure. Very dodgy trade in the 1 minute this way, but it also did take this level up here. It broke up above and then dropped. So there is something which has happened here. Haven't been able to get into a trade yet. I'm hoping that price will return at some point, up, hopefully up to here. Maybe mess around again, I don't know. It may even get another entry if it comes back, but we'll see what happens. I'll keep an eye on it, and we'll go from there. Right, okay, this has done its move now from earlier on. On about 4 hours from when I did the breakdown of what I was looking at and how I was trying to get involved with the trade. Right, so what actually happened is initially I was waiting for price to tap here and come back above the 618 and look to go into this area to look to go for a short. But what actually happened is price pushed back up to here near that 50% and then dropped away, broke down below here, and this demand here didn't really hold. So what I tend to do is I move my fib down again, and there comes a point where you can't keep following the fib all the way down and waiting for a 50% retracement. But there was this zone which was created at the 50% retracement. So instead of waiting to go in here, I took the trade, set a sell limit order from here. I added my spread in from there as well, and my stop was at the top. So instead of me looking at going in there, I actually went in here. So it gave me a bigger stop. So I'm just going to move it out. Let's get rid of this. So that was like a 21 just over 21 pips stop loss. But what's annoying is that this thing literally tapped into that supply and just dropped its bloody guts. It just absolutely dropped his ass out of the trade there. But I've done this so many times in the past where I would have put my stop there and then got stopped out, gone up here, stopped there, stopped out, and then, you know, on this one here. So for me, like I said in my first video, is when I get to 2R, which was at this point here, this is the point where I go, okay, so there it is there. 2R hit, bank 1R, set stop loss to break even. So I stuck it to break even. I've been taken out of this trade now. As you can see, it dropped all the way down. At its peak, it hits just over 6R. Up in there. Where's that gone? There we go. At its peak, it hit just over 6R, which was down there. I've been stopped out at 4R, which is here. So eventually my stop, when it dropped down to here, my stop was at this point. It's come up here and it's taken me out at this point here. I can go into actually why I got stopped out there. If I take another fib and let's put in, let's use this. Okay. Can I show the levels on here? Values. Okay. So I said at this point, when it's at 2R, I set my stop loss to break even at this point here. When I get to 3R, I move it down to where 1R would be. When it goes to 4R, I go down to 2R. When it gets to 5R, I go down to there. And when it hits 6, I was down at this point. Now it never quite got to 7, and then it's come back up and it's taken me out 4, which is fine. I'm happy with that as a really decent trade. I was looking at this 1 hour demand to see if it would actually have some type of reaction there, but that demand really is quite high up. You would expect it to come back further down into this area down here at least, but again, well, it has come back down to this area. But again, for the target, like I said, it's sometimes I do work on looking at a complete fib retracement on the main swing, and then looking to see, you know, where the 50% is of the huge swing, and then potentially look to see and trade into that. There was a area in here that should show it. Is that a green candle? Yeah, it is a green candle, so it's not a down candle. But anyway, so that's what's happened on that. I'm quite pleased with that trade. I am a little bit annoyed that I didn't have a smaller stop, but you can't complain about stuff like that. That is just what happens. I hope what I was explaining up in this 1 hour supply as to why I was taking the trade and why I was actually looking, because if you look at this 1 hour supply, that 1 hour supply went and actually broke structure there. So break of structure, and as you can see, price come down to here and it failed to retrace back up to the point of where price pushed away and went down again. So as you can see here, there's another break of structure. There's imbalance through there. That then can technically be a zone. That can technically be that's not a demand, that can be a supply zone. And again, that is another area that you can look to short from if you just wanted to trade the 1 hour, and look for the low to be taken, which would give you a 2.45 trade off that. That is how I trade, based off the 1 hour swings, and I use the swings. I'm not into the smaller candle ones because it used to stuff me out so much. And like at this point here, there's another break here. You can see here it reacted a little bit to this. That probably could have been a trade in there, but then it's pushed up, and now we've pushed away again with some real power from where it fell the last time. Not to say that this is now going to change. We don't know. This could come down to here and now make up, but it doesn't matter. We've taken a trade which is all rule based, and it's worked pretty well. So I'm happy with that for today. And yeah, hope that makes sense. And as usual, just trade safe.